The afternoon sun burned hot over a quiet street in Houston, where a small garage sat nestled between an abandoned gas station and a taco stand. Inside, Ava Torres stood hunched over a disassembled McLaren engine, hands covered in grease, eyes focused with surgical intensity. She was only 22, but had spent more time inside an engine bay than most mechanics twice her age. Her father, once a race team engineer, had taught her everything before passing away 3 years ago. Since then, she'd run the shop alone, fixing beat-up pickups, tuning street races, and occasionally taking on jobs no one else wanted. The hum of a low, angry engine broke the stillness. A sleek black McLaren Sabre rolled into the lot like a spaceship landing on Earth. Behind the wheel sat a tall man in a pressed white shirt and designer sunglasses. Thomas Dane, billionaire real estate mogul, known for buying rare cars he barely drove and firing anyone who questioned his taste. Ava wiped her hands on a towel as he stepped out, glancing around, with a frown that said the garage wasn't good enough for his shoes. "You Ava Torres?" he asked, voice clipped. "Yep," she replied, already walking toward the car. He opened the hood, but stayed back. "It's misfiring under load. My techs can't figure it out. Heard someone here might be unconventional." "Is that your way of saying I'm young or that I'm a girl?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. He smirked. Both, probably. Without answering, she leaned over the engine. Her fingers brushed over sensors and hoses like she was reading Braille. She listened, tapped the intake, and checked the diagnostic readouts, old school by ear and hand, with no laptop in sight. "You're running rich at mid-throttle," she said. "Your turbo mapping's off. ECU wasn't tuned to account for altitude shift in Texas. Plus, you've got a pressure imbalance on the right intake." Dane blinked. "You got that in under 2 minutes?" "I got that when you pulled in." She dove in, pulling tools from a tray, adjusting screws, rerouting a sensor wire with precision. Her movements were fast, fluid, and absolutely confident. She didn't hesitate or second-guess. 30 minutes later, the McLaren's engine came alive with a smooth, deep growl. Ava revved it once, then looked over at Dane. "Now it's a real Sabre." He approached slowly, listening to the engine idle. It sounded like it had just rolled off the Nürburgring. "I've spent over 200 grand trying to fix that sound," he said quietly. "None of them came close." She gave a half-smile. Sometimes money doesn't know where to look. He stared at her, not in the way people usually did, with judgment or surprise, but something closer to respect. Ava didn't ask for praise. She never had. She just closed the hood and handed him his key fob. "You ever think about leaving this place?" he asked. "Coming to LA? I could set you up in a real shop. Big pay, big clients." "I have real clients," she replied. "You're one of them." He chuckled, but the offer still stood. "Just think about it. You're something else, Ava Torres." As he drove away, Ava watched the McLaren disappear down the road, the engine singing perfectly. She turned back to her garage. It wasn't fancy. The roof leaked when it rained, and the AC rattled. But it was hers. And today she'd made a billionaire speechless without even raising her voice. The video went viral the next day. Someone from across the street had recorded Ava working on the McLaren, capturing every moment, from the billionaire's smug arrival to the engine roaring back to life. By morning, the girl who fixed a Sabre was trending across car forums, TikTok and Reddit. Her inbox exploded with messages from race teams, engineering schools, influencers and reporters. A few even offered 6-figure salaries just for an interview. But Ava didn't respond to any of them. She had work to do. The shop still opened at 8 a.m. and there were 3 customer cars waiting out front. She tightened a belt on a Civic, rebuilt a carburetor for a '66 Mustang, and installed a new clutch kit. All before noon. Around lunchtime, a matte grey Porsche Taycan pulled up. Ava barely glanced at it before going back to her wrenching. A sharply dressed man stepped out and looked around, confused. "You don't have a receptionist?" he asked. Ava pointed to the sign. "Mechanic on duty, ask inside." The man introduced himself as Ray Hollow, a regional talent scout for Velocity Engineering, a company known for supplying performance parts to F1 and Le Mans teams. "You've got the internet on fire," he said. "We'd like to fly you out to our HQ. We'll pay for everything. There's a position open, head of special projects." Ava leaned against the car lift. "You watched the video, and now I'm qualified?" He smiled. "We were impressed before the video. The clip just confirmed it." She looked at the floor. Her father's boots still sat by the wall, dusty but untouched. He used to talk about working in Formula One when he was young, before life got in the way. "You'd be the youngest ever in that position," Ray added, "and the first woman." Ava hesitated, not because she was scared, but because she wasn't sure she wanted to leave what she'd built. That night, she sat in the garage long after sunset. The tools were quiet, the lights humming softly overhead. She turned over a small metal plaque in her hand, the one her dad had mounted to the workbench. It read, "Fix it right, or don't fix it at all." She smiled. 3 weeks later, Ava was standing in a spotless glass lab in California, wearing a black polo with her name embroidered on the sleeve. She had accepted the offer, but only on her terms. She would design, build, and test engines her way. Her first assignment was rebuilding a next-gen prototype for a McLaren electric hypercar. Dane, the billionaire, showed up unannounced to see it. He stepped into the lab, still amazed. "You really built this in 3 weeks?" 3 weeks and 2 decades, she replied, not looking up. He laughed. "So what's next for you?" Ava grinned, tightening a torque bolt. "Same as always. Make engines that don't just run, but speak." He nodded slowly. "The world's going to know your name, Ava." She didn't respond. Her hands were busy, her mind already racing through the next build. In her world, fame didn't matter. Results did. And for the first time, she had the tools, the freedom, and the respect to build everything she had ever dreamed of.